Hello, and welcome back to our Awakening Intuition video series, where we pull oracle cards twice a month to give us all some invitations to work with our self-love, our self-care, and our mindfulness practices. So as always, we'll be pulling 3 cards today, and we're going to be using both of my intuition decks, or my oracle decks rather, Awakening Intuition and Grief, Grace, and Healing. So before I get started on pulling the 3 cards, which will give us some invitations for the second half of February 2024, I am going to ask you to pick a card in your mind ahead of time that might end up being the card that resonates for you most out of the 3. So right now, take a moment. You can pause the video after I explain this if you need to, but I want you to pick a number with your intuition, either 1, 2, or 3. So there's a couple ways your intuition might help you pick the number. You could actually hear the number 1 in your mind, a gentle voice in your mind saying the number 1. You could also see an image in your mind, right? Just in your mind's eye of 2. You might see an image of the number 2. Another way that you might get the number is every time I say 1, 2, or 3, which card do you want? Your energy just kind of really gets pulled over to that number 3. Just, ooh, that number 3 just energetically pops for me. So take a moment, pick your number, and then we will jump into our Awakening Intuition deck, which is my oracle deck that is selling really, really well. I'm so pleased. Thank you for everyone who's been getting the deck. I'm so thrilled that everyone's enjoying it so much, and I'm glad it's helping you awaken your intuition, which is what the deck is intended. And if you want to get either of these decks, you can just check out the links below this video. It will give you all that information. So we'll just unbox it here. It's got this lovely velvet pouch. We'll get all the cards out. And as most of you know who've been watching this video series, what I do first is I just gently set the intention with the cards that we would like some really helpful messages to help us all navigate the second half of February, the last 2 weeks of February 2024. So then I'll hold the cards here in my palm chakra, which are just right here. You've got 2 of them. Hold the deck there, just let it warm up, set that intention. We want some really helpful, healing, inspiring messages for everyone. And then we're going to get ready to pick 3 cards. So as you know, I have my own shuffling method that I have used for years and years that I love, but feel free to use whatever method works for you. And I'm just going to start shuffling, and I'm looking for a card to really jump out and stick out and let us know, Tanya, 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 this is the card. There we go. What a lovely pull. We got one that came right up. Great card. That's really helpful. So that's our card number 1. Now we're going to pick card number 2. Oh gosh, that one came right up as soon as, it didn't stick out too dramatically, but gosh, it really stuck up above the others right away when I started pulling. So, wow, these cards really do have a nice theme. So I like both of those. We've got our card number 1 and our card number 2. I'll put these cards away, and then for the final 3rd card, we are going to pick from my oracle deck, Grief, Grace, and Healing. This is a lovely oracle deck that's there to help us navigate any time in our life when we are grieving something. This is grieving any kind of loss. It could be someone who passes away, a relationship that leaves your life, a job change, something that changes with your body, a sense that a phase in your life is ending and a new one is beginning. It can be any time you're going through a grief cycle in your life. This deck is a really nice support. So I'll get it out of the pouch, and I'm actually I wanted to mention, and I'll tell you a little bit more at the end of the video, I am doing a workshop next week, which will be February 21st on Wednesday, with the Edgar Cayce Institute, and it's all about this theme of grief, grace, and healing. So listen at the end of the video for more information about that, or you can check the links below. So the way we're going to pull a card from Grief, Grace, and Healing is a little bit different. I'll show you another pull method. So we're going to, again, hold the cards right here between our palm chakras. We're going to let that heat up, and we're going to set the intention that we really want a helpful, healing, lovely message for this second half of February. So now we're just going to let the cards fall open. Okay. Good card. I like that card. And we've got a nice little theme here going for this part of the second half of February, which is lovely. And we'll talk about the cards. I'll explain each one. Now's the time to pay attention to which number you picked with your intuition. And here we go with card number 1. If you picked card number 1, you picked Cultivate Energy Awareness. So let me read this card to you. Improving your intuition requires understanding energy, its power, its proximity, its nuances, and its importance. Notice energy, your own, the energy of other individuals and groups, the energy of situations and opportunities, the energy of physical spaces, and the fluctuations in world energy. Name and describe types of energy you encounter. Okay, so if you picked card number 1, or if that energy card is just resonating with you here for the second half of February, you are looking to be more mindful of the energy in your life. There's so much about this card. You can read back, you can listen back to what I just said about it on the face of the card. If you have the deck at home, the Awakening Intuition deck, you can go into the guidebook and read even more about it. There's so much that could be said about this card, but when I'm asking my intuition, what might be most relevant for people in the second half of February, I'm hearing clairaudiently my intuitive voice in my mind saying, this might be a little bit about protection. Just kind of snuggling in a little bit to your own energy, being mindful if you're a sensitive person, that, I really want to be careful with the energy I'm opening up and absorbing with. So sometimes as a sensitive person, you're hyper perceptive. You have this really wonderful energy body and nervous system that can open up and feel with the world and absorb in lovely ways, absorb things that are challenging, neutral, or really lovely. All of those can be nourishing for a sensitive person. One thing that I'm hearing is there might just be a lot of energy flying around in your world in the second half of February, and it could be some really great, exciting energy, some neutral energy, and some energy that's challenging, things in the world that are challenging, people in your life going through challenging things, this kind of stuff. So I think it might be what I'm really hearing clairaudiently is we're wanting to be mindful of our energy and really mindful of the energy we are creating. The energy we're creating in ourselves, the energy we're creating in the spaces in our lives, whether that's our workplace, our home, and also, the energy that we're giving out. So I think people who are energy sensitive in the second half of February will find it really helpful at times to be conscious of what energy am I wanting to choose each day and in each moment? And can I give that energy as a little bit of a gift to the world? Can I give someone else some lovely, healing, calming, encouraging, whatever kind of energy I think the situation or that person might really need at that moment? So you might also, I'm hearing some of us in the second half of February, just be a little more energy sensitive, which isn't bad at all. Sometimes when you go through a sensitivity growth spurt and your intuition and sensitivity is kind of becoming stronger, which really does happen for people, intuition is not static, you can temporarily be a little more energy sensitive. And it's wonderful, but it can also, just be a lot temporarily. So one thing I'm also hearing is you can be very particular with the energy of your spaces. What energy can you control in your space? Can I have a clean, tidy space? Can I have a calm music on in my space? Exposing myself to really calm, grounding, nurturing energy in the physical spaces that I can really control, which is something that I was working on based on the cards we pulled for the first half of February. I really worked on that myself for the first half of February, and it helped a lot. So lots of energy, I think, going around in the second half of February. That was card number 1. The second card kind of piggybacks on that same theme. So if you chose card number 2, you chose the card Open Up to Feel. Mindfully tuning into energy and emotions around you now is nourishing, whether it's the calming energy of nature, the inspiring energy of someone you admire, or the connection in intimately sharing someone else's emotional experience. It's safe, healthy, and healing to absorb in a balanced way. Bond with others and the world. Really there's so much that we could say about this card in particular. You can look in the guidebook, or you can go, if you chose card number 2, you can go back and listen to that part of the video again. This card really speaks to the fact that energy sensitive people like empaths can open up to feel, or they can kind of pull back, observe, and witness the world. You have, it's not a perfect science, but you kind of have 2 choices, which is what I teach a lot about in my books and my oracle decks. So, and it's not a perfect practice. Sometimes you'll automatically open up to feel. Sometimes you'll naturally kind of pull back, retreat, and observe, which you can still do with compassion. It just means you're holding situations and things a little bit more at a healthy distance, and really kind of staying in your own energy instead of mindfully opening up to feel and absorb with others. So this card really indicates that in the second half of February, we might really be wanting to consciously open up and feel more. What I'm hearing, which is really interesting, again, clairaudiently, the intuitive voice in my mind is saying that some people watching this video in the second half of February might have some profound emotional experiences with other people that are actually quite healing. And it might be that opening up to feel emotionally what someone in your life that you love or care about is feeling, and sharing your feelings, and kind of both really being open. And if you're an empath, feeling that other feeling and energy in your own system a little, letting yourself do that is actually quite healing. And you might have some really profound emotional experiences unexpectedly with people in the second half of February. I hear that's something that's going around right now in the collective. So, especially if you picked card number 2 with your intuition, but this could really apply to anyone watching the video, that you might really want to be a little bit more emotionally open in the second half of February to your own emotions, but also to others, and not be nervous about, in certain situations with certain people, when you have the stamina and it feels healthy and appropriate, go ahead and let yourself open up and feel and have those healing, nourishing emotional experiences with others. That's a lovely card. So the third card, that we pulled from the Oracle deck, Grief, Grace, and Healing, is Administer Snail's Pace Medicine. This is a really cool card that's all about slowing down. So let me read it to you. Slowing down could be good medicine now. This allows time to process everything going on, be with your emotions, and rest. It may be beneficial to put off lower priority items on your to-do list for a bit. Create open space in your schedule. Inching along at a snail's pace is a huge accomplishment when you're grieving. So again, this deck is for people who are grieving, but there's so many great, mindfulness and healing and intuitive grace tips in this deck that I always pull one card for every video for everyone to enjoy. So I think whether you're in a little bit of a grief cycle or a big grief cycle, or you're not grieving anything at all, there is something for a lot of people in the second half of February, and particularly if you chose card number 3 with your intuition, where you are going to want to be slowing down. Again, I think what I'm hearing is there's going to be a lot of kind of healing transformation happening for people in the second half of February. And that slowing down when and where you can. I know a lot of you are very busy, or there's deadlines, or there's a lot going on. But when you can take the time to slow down and catch up with yourself, it will help you really process and be aware of that healing transformation that's happening. Because I hear for some people in the second half of February, these will be big healing transformations that are happening. So, and that kind of goes along with some of the astrology that I've been hearing astrologers talk about. So, And I think these transformations are ultimately positive. So you're just wanting to slow down and be with yourself and the emotions and the energy that's happening, and let yourself realize, like, wow, I'm in a real transformation happening right now. Let me slow down so that I can just process some of that change and contemplate it and have the great intuitive insights about it, and maybe even figure out some action steps, at the beginning of March that I want to take around that. So we'll just quickly review the cards, because I do think they create a nice theme. So the cultivate energy awareness, again, I think this is somewhat about realizing there's going to be a lot of energy going around in the second half of February. And I think some of it will be quite lovely, but you might need to kind of protect yourself and just be aware of that, and really work on what energy you want to cultivate inside, and especially the energy you want to cultivate in your home or shared spaces. The open up to feel is that, don't protect yourself so much that you're not letting yourself open your heart and feel and absorb in a nourishing way, whether that's with someone who's feeling something challenging or someone who's feeling something wonderful, or what I really feel like is going to be happening in the second half of February, people really having some healing, emotional, shared connection where they are opening up and feeling deeply with each other. That's really lovely. So, part of the protection is letting yourself be open so that when those moments happen, you can jump in and open up and feel everything and be like, yeah, I'm here for this. The last card, the slowing down, again, I keep hearing the word transformation. So especially if you pick card number 3 with your intuition, there's all of this kind of little stew I'm picking up in the second half of February might be that there's really some lovely healing, transformative things going on with you in your life. I hear especially internally, but also it could be external changes that show up. So, really, really lovely reading for the second half of February. And I feel like the second half of February might be really pregnant with meaning for a lot of people. So, let us know in the comments how the second half of February went for you, or which card you chose. And thank you again for being here for these readings. We do them twice a month here on this YouTube channel. You can subscribe or like the video to help the channel grow. And if you are attracted to any of these decks, the Awakening Intuition deck or the Grief, Grace, and Healing deck, there are links below that will help you get those decks or give them as gifts if that's what you want to do. There's also a link below about that wonderful workshop I'm giving next week, Wednesday the 21st, with the Edgar Cayce Institute. I'm always so honored to be doing things with them, but it's an online, live or on-demand workshop I'll be doing, and the theme is Grief, Grace, and Healing, so check the links below for that. And also, I'm so excited all month long to be talking about my lovely book for sensitive people, Empath Heart. This is about helping people who are sensitive and empaths and really do open up to feel a lot, helping them navigate relationships in their life of all kinds. So it could be romantic, family, friends, coworkers, your relationship with the collective. These are specific tools for sensitive people to help them navigate their relationships. And this is now on audio. So this is now an audiobook with a fantastic narrator. She's just one of the most popular audiobook narrators. She's lovely, amazing, is reading this book. You can get it now. Just go to Amazon, and if you have an Audible subscription especially, it's very easy to get. So thank you so much for being here for the second half of February. Make some time and space for yourself for some of this healing that might happen between you, people in your life. And meet us here again for the first half of March when we do another video for March 1st, and we can kind of discuss how the second half of February went for myself and everyone else. Thank you so much for being here. Your energy is just so palpable. I can really feel it before I get on these on the microphone, on the camera to do the videos. Even though you're not here yet, I feel like your energy is kind of bubbling up, and it really inspires me to pull these cards and try and get the best messages I can for you. So thank you for being here, and I'm sending you a lot of love for the second half of February.